Speaker, Housing Guru, Sri Ramesh Bhai, the President of the club, dignitaries of the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Hats off to Ramesh Bhai for having analyzed the provisions of ARERA in excellent exposition. Before I come down to the actual provisions, I'll just summarize as to how I'm going to cover. First of all, I'll deal with what is dispute, what are the practical aspects of disputes, what are the forums available, and how the forums are working under the present provisions of the law. Prior to that, let me draw your attention to the policy which was drafted for cooperative movement in the year 2002. This policy has been implemented through the Parliament law in the form of 97th Constitutional Amendment, and all the state governments were required to bring their respective state laws in conformity with the provisions of the amendment of 97th Amendment, and accordingly most of the states have. Now, during my career I came across the natures of disputes, because there are a number of disputes, all of us are aware what are those disputes, but I will deal with specifically a few disputes which have come to my notice. Most of the disputes, as Ramesh Bhai said, it comes in the course of redevelopment. Then the disputes relate to the day-to-day working of the societies, parking allotment, transfer of shares, certain utilities, inconvenience, leakages. These are the day-to-day disputes. Most of the time the disputes are simple in nature. However, those have to become complicated either because of the egoistic approach of the committee or the lack of knowledge on the part of the members of the society, or the groupism, or some other factor. We have normally observed that people are reluctant to come as a managing committee member. However, there are certain elements who do try to become member of the committee, and that creates a lot of complications also, because they become a motivated committee member. The reason is quite often there are huge infrastructure in the societies, big societies particularly, or there are the occasions of redevelopment which are expected in short period in the future. These are the motivating factor for some of the members, and they try to come in the managing committee and they try to manipulate the circumstances. These are the issues which develop into the dispute at a later stage. As Sarjanji pointed out and elaborated by Ramesh Bhai, the corruption in the form of the benefits to be taken in course of working of the society are some of the reasons for getting motivated to become the members of the managing committee. But all of us know that being a committee member is a thankless job. In spite of your best of efforts and the honesty, by and large, at the end of the day, you are blamed, you are abused, and the disputes last long even after you cease to be the managing committee member. Matters are taken to the registrar's office. One thumb rule by all of us is, as and when there is a dispute or a problem, people approach the office of registrar. Now, registrar's office is not the ultimate thing in every dispute. Let me draw your attention to certain specific provisions of the model bylaws in the form of bylaw number 63 in the new bylaws and 65 in the old bylaws. We can describe 7 different entities to where the disputes can be taken. Now, all these things are not understood. It's a lack of knowledge on the part of the committee as well as on the part of the members of the society, which results into aggravated disputes. Now what is this simple bylaws? The simple bylaw 63 describes 10 different kinds of applications, requests, complaints, which is to be filed with the Secretary of the Society. The Secretary is required to look into these things. If there are any deficiencies or shortcomings in the complaints or applications or requests, those have to be brought to the notice of member for further compliance, giving further details. Whether the member or complainant complies or not, the Secretary is duty bound to bring this in the next managing committee meeting or next meeting of the general body, whichever is earlier. The committee is supposed to take the decision, and in the 15 days time, the decision is required to be conveyed to the applicant or the complainant. If the decision is in favor of the person, then the letter goes straight forward. If there is the decision against, then the committee has to specifically mention the reason for not agreeing to the complaint or the application. Now starts the legal process. If the applicant or the member or the requesting person is not satisfied with the decision taken by the managing committee for or against him, then he has been given 7 forums, which have been described in the bylaw number 174. These 7 forums are the general body of the society, the local police station, BMC, registrar, co-operative court, civil court, and consumer forums. Now, these 7 forums are listed in the bylaws, and under every authority there is a list of various grievances which can be taken. And therefore the applicant or the complainant has to accordingly approach that forum. We have to deal with only the registrars and the cooperative jurisdictional authorities. We are not looking into, in today's lecture, we are not looking into other forums available to the members. The important thing is disputes and their resolutions. Now the disputes per se have been defined under section 91 of the Co-operative Society Act. But before that, let me read out certain important legal provisions relating to the rights of the member as well as the structure available to the members of the society. Now as it is, we largely lack the institutional mechanism to help the citizens in case of complaints or grievances. There are very few activists. However, MSWA, which is being presided over by Rameshji, is one pioneering institute in the state of Maharashtra, which is helping by way of educating the masses in the cooperative laws. As has been read out by Sirish Bhai in his introduction, lot many books have been written by him. He conducts regular training. He publishes regularly magazines. So this is the forum. But there are other very few activists as far as to help the citizens. And therefore, the complainant or the members always rush to the registrar. And the corrupt department takes benefit of that, unfortunately. I am proud to share with you that we have provided question and answer utility on our website. We also answer to the queries free of charge. I have also been conducting, as Sirish Bhai has mentioned in my introduction, the training for the managing committee, for which do not charge. Of course, if I am asked to visit the society to educate the group of members, then I will definitely charge. Many societies have taken benefit. Now, I have drawn your attention to the various natures of disputes. Let us come to the constitutional right. Having drawn the attention to the cause of disputes, I will refer to the constitutional aspect. As I told you, the nature of disputes we have decided, I have referred to authorities for resolutions. The court and the registrar are the two authorities. The judicial forums such as co-operative court are there. Before we come exactly to the forums, one more important thing I would like to draw your attention to. Sometime in 1983, the government of Maharashtra came out with a resolution, sometime on 30th April 1983, giving the authority to the executive to supervise the judges of the cooperative court by way of writing the yearly report of efficiency of the judges, right? Sometime in 1983. Now, fortunately, our judiciary, when the matter went to the Bombay High Court, I think through some PIL, the Bombay High Court very clearly turned down that this resolution is not as per the constitution. This resolution cannot pass, and the matter was set right. As far as our state is concerned, there are the salutary provisions, let us admit. However, certain other states, for example, the West Bengal, where every decision taken by the registrar is not challengeable before the judicial authorities. There are hardly a few matters which go to the judicial authority. Otherwise, the citizen has to directly approach the High Court under the normal civil provisions of the law. As far as our state is concerned, we are much better in the development of the law. As has been pointed out in the success story of DERA, here also there are the salutary provisions. But in any case, the tribunal is missing in the cooperative society laws also. Say for example, we are all aware about the revenue tribunal, ITAT. First appeal, order passed by the registrar, appeal goes to the higher authority in the registrar's office, but there is a dead end. The member does not have a right to approach a civil forum except by way of writ petition, which is not only expensive but time consuming. So this lacuna is there. If we try to visualize, as I told you, the revenue laws, there is the first appeal of the assessing officer, then the higher authorities, but after that the second appeal goes to the tribunal. And let me share with you, there may be many chartered accountants also here. Let me share with you that majority of the judgment delivered by the tribunal are at the end approved by the Supreme Court. There is such a huge strength available with the tribunal. That kind of forum we are lacking in the our setup of the dispute resolution under the provisions of, and that is the reason precisely. This is the reason precisely. There is a huge politicization also and the corruption also. It will not be misplaced if I say, Ramesh bhai, that to a large extent even the professions are responsible for the corruption. Many of you must have experienced. When we approach a professional, there is a tendency, untold tendency, to indirectly push you to the corruption. In a recent matter, my office got a call from the office of the registrar that the application for registration is pending and 60 days time is going to be over because there is a limit of 60 days. And my staff told me that we have received a call from the registrar's office, and he says that the application is not so far scrutinized. Before that, he would like to meet me. I got the indication, and I told my staff that you tell him that because when I took this assignment in the general body of the society, when I went there, proposed society, I had agreed that if your application is rejected, let me assure you, I'll file the appeal and see that you are registered and my fees will be half of what I am appeal fees. So this was plainly pointed out to the registrar's office. He submitted and I got the registration certificate much before completion of 60 days. So this is how I say the professors sometimes are responsible for corruption or the stoppage of it. However, absence of judicial review, judicial appeal, because the deputy registrar and DDA, district deputy registrar, and then the division joint registrar, this hierarchy is within the department, and there is a lot of pressure, political pressure, and therefore the corruption has taken place. I will again repeat one thing, that let me bring to your notice that in our state, the cooperative court exercise jurisdiction over many more matters compared to other states in India. As I told you, in Karnataka, in West Bengal, compared to that, our judiciary, under section 91, our judiciary has a lot many issues covered, which cannot be dealt with by the bureaucracy. The issues which have been named and disputes have been mentioned, as I told you, in section 91 of the Act, and those issues have been removed from the jurisdiction of the other civil court. So there is a special forum. You don't need to wait for a long period in the normal civil matter. As Sajjanji was telling, 15 years, 20 years, that doesn't happen in case of you go to the cooperative court. Of course, there is a lot of pendency there also, but that pendency, by and large, I have experienced that is maximum up to 2-3 years. Except in special circumstances, the matters are lagging beyond 3 years. Otherwise, by and large, in cooperative court, the matters come to an end within 2-3 years. Unlike in the civil court. So there is a good jurisdiction available to us compared to the other states. Now the issues which are under jurisdiction of the registrar are noted separately by me, and I will come to those issues so you will be able to understand what are the issues which are coming within the purview of the registrar and what are the issues which go to the cooperative court. I must refer to the issues which go to the registrar. Which society to be registered? What are the qualifications? Whether the proposed society with the structure presented is eligible to be registered or not, this is to be decided by the registrar. That to register the society is also within the scope and purview of the registrar. Many of these 20 items we have listed have the final authority rests with the registrar. At the most, appeal is provided under section 152, or there is no appeal provided, and therefore the only mechanism available to you is by way of revision, and revision authority are also the same authorities. Division joint registrar or the DDR. The third item is question of activity of person. Say for registration of a society or for a membership of a society, be it housing society or any other cooperative society, the activity of person, the residence of the person, the business or profession of the person, these are all to be decided, and this power is resting with the registrar, judicial registrar. Then your society will be classified under which category? Because depending on the classification, lot of rights and liabilities come in play, and therefore classification is also raised with the registrar. Then amendment of the bylaws. Let me point out that amendment of the bylaws, the authority as well as the forcing the society or writing to the society about the necessity to amend the bylaws rests with the registrar's office only. However, we have a system of model bylaws for housing societies, and therefore by and large the amendment to the model bylaws are not accepted by and large. But even then the legal provisions are there, and these have not been tested as to if the registrar refuses to amend the bylaws in a particular way as demanded by the general body of the society, whether the society will have a right to challenge. I have not come across any such judicial decision. Then amalgamation of the societies, transfers, division and conversion of society. These are various aspects which are exclusively within the domain of the registrar, and the registrar has only the power to decide about the amalgamation of the society. Now we have the experience of division of society. However, there are some administrative benefits given. Say for example, recently sometime in January 2017, because of lot many redevelopment in the societies, the